This story started back in 1964. The 19th of January. It was 9 days before my 12th birthday. My mother and father and brothers and sisters had gone to church. Me and my nephew and niece were at home because they were sick, and I stayed there with them. We were in there playing, just having us a big time. Not a worry in the world. When a car pulled up in our yard, and we went out to see who it was, and it was my mom and my sister, and they had some bad news. My brother had been shot. My brother was 19 years old at this time. Was Jasper Franklin Taylor Jr., named after my dad. We called him Junior. Me and him didn't always see eye to eye because I was 11, he was 19, so I aggravated him to death, I'm sure. I remember one time him throwing a fork at me across the table because I was aggravating him so bad. But from my understanding, what happened was my brother and his two friends, they were partying, I guess, and my brother's friend's sister lived back off the field, and they had to go down a pipe to get to it. And when they got there, when they got ready to leave, there was an old man there, and he wanted to go with them, and they didn't want no old man with them, and he was about drunk already anyway. And but he got in the car anyway, and my brother was backing back down the path. And as he back to across the road, he couldn't see because his friend and the old man were back there fussing at each other, and I don't know whether they were fighting or just fussing. But anyway, he backed into the ditch. When he did, the old man got out and went on to the house. He lived right out by the road. And they tried to get the car out and they couldn't get it out. So they went to see if he would come and help them push. And when he walked up on the front door steps, he shot my brother's friend. They called him Pee Wee, and he fell inside the door. My brother, he started running around the side of the building when they shot him right in the armpit. It went through his heart. He died instantly. The other boy, he shot him in the eye, and he crawled off into the woods and went to a neighbor's and they called the ambulance, the sheriff's department. The buddy that had fell inside the door, he had crawled in, and the old man was laying on his bed, couch or whatever it was, there with his gun in his arms, and Pee Wee was on the floor there. And the rescue said if they could have got to him, they might could have saved him because he bled to death. But they couldn't get in there because the old man was there with his gun. The one that got shot in the eye, he's still living today. But they never took the bullet out because it was too close to his brain. They took it out, he might kill him. So they just left it in there, and it's in there to this day. And when we got there, I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to see him because when we got over there, he was still living in the yard, and the other boy was in the house. But I didn't want to see that at 11 years old. The old man was found innocent. They claimed it was self-defense, which I don't know. It could have been, or he might have thought it was anyway. I know my dad he worked out of town, and he slept in his truck at night time. He had it fixed where he could sleep in it. He said one night, he didn't know if it was a dream or a vision, but he either dreamed or saw my brother come back to him and told him just not to worry about it, that the old man was just scared. So my dad didn't fight it no more. As time went by, probably 10, 12 years later, the old man, his name was George Bennett, he had moved and he lived across over by an old country store. And people just went over there and sat around, drank Coca-Cola, eat nabs. And he went over there, and there was a bunch of people over there, and he was sitting around. He telling them, he said, them boys were driving him crazy. That he just couldn't take it no more. And he went back across the road, and he shot himself and killed himself. So whether he was guilty of it or not, I guess he paid for it one way or another. He had a bad feeling about it, or he wouldn't have done that. He even tried to apologize to my dad one time uptown, probably about 8 or 9 years after that. My dad told him to get away from him because he didn't want to talk to him, and I can understand that. I imagine it'd be hard on any parent to lose a son at any age, but to have him shot in that way and killed, and their life just cut short of what they could have turned out to be. Could have been anything. They had their whole lives ahead of them. And another thing that makes it so bad was my brother and his girlfriend had planned on getting married that same Sunday, but her parents wouldn't let her. And so that's one reason he was out with his friends instead of being with her. So, you never know what's going to happen. So count your blessings and keep your loved ones close, because they could be here today and gone tomorrow. And once they're gone, they're gone. It's final as far as here on earth is concerned. This was my recollection. My name's Chesley Taylor. That is a memory that I'll never forget as long as I live. And I'll never be able to explain the feelings that I felt that night and during the time of its funeral and all. It was a bad feeling. I hope none of you have to go through that experience. Anyway, that's the story of my brother getting shot. Thank you.